Happy Wednesday morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day here in West Michigan. The sun is actually out for the first time in like 2 weeks. Not even exaggerating there. But yeah, today I wanted to address that I think almost all of us are focusing on the wrong thing. And if I were to ask you, what is the root problem? Most people would just say their addiction. Whether that's pornography, masturbation, alcoholism, drugs, drug abuse, anything like that. People are going to name the vice itself, the substance in most cases, and then they are also going to name the behavior, acting out, if you will. So actually drinking or actually taking a hit, anything like that. But most people don't go one step further back, that is, to identify triggers. And these triggers are truly the root cause, because if you could remove those triggers, then there would be nothing that was triggering you to act out that behavior in the first place, and you wouldn't ever act out that behavior. And it's not a simple task. It's not like you just snap your fingers and say adios to all the triggers, because this is typically a learning process and some self-introspective stuff where you kind of realize, all right, that led to this led to that, all right, so I need to remove that, which was at the very beginning. And probably the biggest one is emotions. And these can be tricky, but essentially, if you kind of sink into your emotions and you 100% believe them, and like say I were to wake up depressed, and I was like, all right, I am depressed today, I'm going to let everybody know it, and I'm not going to even bother to attempt to cheer myself up, to do anything positive, anything along those lines. In that sense, I am giving in to my emotion, and I understand that it is very, very difficult, especially with something like clinical depression, to quote-unquote pull yourself out of that. But you can still take small positive steps, positive actions to move away from these types of negative emotions. And I'll hit some of the big ones for dealing with pornography and masturbation and when that can escalate. But those are going to be loneliness, as I'm sure you guys can figure out. That one is fairly obvious. Those are going to be anxiety or stress, and you're going to seek your addiction as a way of kind of bringing you some regulation, some peace of mind, some happiness. So yeah, depression, as we talked about, loneliness, stress, anxiety, fear sometimes, like any sense of overwhelming. And then finally, obviously, arousal, which is super, super obvious. There's some other smaller ones, like feeling incompetent, either around women or at work or school or wherever your typical vocation is. But yeah, those you need to self-identify for yourself. So when you have a negative emotion, you need to recognize it and go, all right, so I am feeling this right now. You don't have to freak out and like try and do something about it and do a 180 on your emotions there. But if you can identify it at least, then you will better understand when, where, how you feel certain ways, and moving forward from there, you'll be able to take positive steps, like we talked about, to eliminate those before it even happens. And then there's some triggers that are a lot more obvious. This was the biggest one, and I probably believe that it's probably the biggest one for you guys too. But the Instagram Explore page is absolute cancer for this habit that we're dealing with here, guys. I am telling you, like, a few too many scrolls and clicking in the wrong place one time, and an hour later you will find yourself in a place you did not expect to be, did not want to be, and are even surprised with yourself that you ended up there. And we've all been there, guys. We've all been there. It can come in all shapes and sizes, such as magazines, such as the Snapchat discovery page, Facebook, YouTube even. And I think you guys are noticing a common trend here. The number one is social media. It's actually full of scantily clad guys and girls, and you do not have to try very hard to find this sort of stuff on there, and that is going to absolutely devastate some of your progress. And that easy accessibility makes it seem harmless because you're not typing in an explicit website, but sooner rather than later you end up finding yourself in that spot in the first place. And honestly, for me, I have gone even further back, like video games. I'm dead serious. Like, video games would make me feel that, like, quick burst of dopamine, quick sense of achievement, but then in the long run I would end up wanting more, and I would get used to that sort of happiness level, if you will, and my brain would look for more extreme ways of acquiring it, which over a few days would become something that turns into a relapse. And at first I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm not telling you guys to stop playing right this second, right today. But identifying these triggers earlier rather than later, whether that's long showers, whether that's video games, whether that's different apps you've got on your phone, the list goes on and on, guys. And the sooner you can identify it, the safer you're gonna be. So yeah, it's all about just setting up those guardrails, setting up those preventative measures, and I bet ya that honestly just taking a few triggers out of your life is gonna make your streaks double, if not triple, and over time you're gonna be able to break free from this thing. So I am rooting for all of you. Stay strong out there. Have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.